We are live on a Sunday, people, and it's a damn good day to be live because it is gorgeous out. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. No. Wait for it. Wait for it. To mankind. And this is the official rundown for AEW Revolution 2022, which of course is streaming live tonight on pay-per-view, Bleacher Report, Fight TV, with the buy-in starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I am not alone for this stream. He was originally supposed to be on, I believe it was the Royal Rumble rundown a couple months back, or a couple weeks back, technically. But regardless of that, he had to take care of some business obligations. Now he's back, he's free, and he's coming back to the channel, ready to light it up all over again. Please help me welcome the creator, the mastermind of PWP Nation, lifelong wrestling fan, fellow Jersey brethren himself. Please help me welcome back to the channel, Mr. Jay Alletto. Brother, how you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you for the invite back. I'm happy we're able to work this out, get the logistics straight. And I'm excited, brother. I'm excited tonight for AEW Revolution. And I'm excited to get back on this thing and talk to people again. I've been kind of a recluse working behind the scenes, which is cool because that's sometimes what you have to do. You have to just get behind the scenes and get ready for your next move. But thanks for having me, man. I'm pumped.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. It's been about 6 months since we last did this. I believe the last time you were on here, it was Rewind for Extreme Rules right after the pay-per-view, and that was before I started doing live rewinds and rundowns. So I'm definitely happy to have you back, and I'm definitely happy that we could work this out. We got a pretty stacked fucking show tonight. I swear to God, it's like WrestleMania's tonight, never mind in a month. Because let's be honest here. Well, we ain't focused on the most horrendous WrestleMania of all time. Let's be real here. We're focused on Revolution tonight. First things first, let me get your overall thoughts on the build. What are your thoughts on the build and the card as a whole going into the show?
Well, it's been phenomenal. AEW knows what time of the year it is. They're well aware that it's WrestleMania season. They know that the audience is at a fever pitch. People are excited. People are pumped up for what potentially could happen. So they really pulled out all the stops to build a phenomenal card tonight. Some of the major players are on it. There aren't a lot of major acts that are left off of this show. It looks like they really put everything into this one as they normally do for pay-per-views, but they have a lot of traditional type wrestling storylines, lots of build-up, lots of intrigue. That's the one thing that AEW is really doing a great job at, a phenomenal job, is they're able to be innovative, but also stick to the basics, right? Stick to the professional wrestling basic psychology storytelling of it all. So between the main event, which I believe is going to be Adam Cole and Adam Page,
yes,
which, you know, is going to be phenomenal,
yes,
all the way down to the buy-in, which has matches that are absolutely stacked. I'm pumped up for it, man. I'm excited. I'm going to watch every second of the show tonight.
Amen, brother. Amen. Now, first things first, before we get into the matches and we're going to go down the list here, where can everybody find you on social media? Tell everyone your social media links, any website links, anything that they should be made aware of in order to reach you.
Beautiful. Will do. Find me at PWP Nation on most social media platforms. You could also find me at my real name at Jay Alletto at some social media platforms as well. As again, I told you just before, as we open up this show, I'm kind of working in the weeds right now. I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes, working on my eBay store, PWP Nation eBay, getting my investments right, building up things behind the scenes, getting everything ready before I unleash on the public what's coming next, brother. We'll see, man. I tend to be a pretender sometimes when it comes to these different things that I do, these different projects, but we'll see what happens with this one. I'm kind of excited for the future.
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. And be sure to check out the PWP Nation website as well. That link is in the description. Now, of course, as far as I go, you can follow me on social media at real_DJ_storms. That is real_DJ_storms on both Twitter and Instagram. You can add me on Facebook. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. You like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. All of those links are in the description. Jay Alletto is, of course, an exclusive member of the DJ Storms Posse Facebook group. You can post anything that you want. We talk about all types of wrestling. Nothing is off the table. I got Earl Cole. He's my news, rumors, and reports guy. He's posting every single report under the sun to keep everyone aware of what's going on in the wrestling world and the IWC. We are about 6 minutes into the video, so please, please, please make sure that you hit that like button when you come on in. It is ultra vital. You hit the like button, and of course, you share out the stream on all platforms of social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever social media platforms that you may use. Please make sure you share it out. We're going to get as many people in here as possible, and we're going to have a good time, talk about what could very well be the best pay-per-view of 2022. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It is very, very important. Helps me out, helps Jay Alletto out. I mean, come on, it is Jay Alletto and DJ Storms on YouTube. Ain't no one fucking better when it comes to the two of us. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way, you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. Because it's the only time you're going to get to see this chiseled jawline with this glorious sideburn shin strap combo and this beautiful mustache right here. This is Earl Cole's favorite part of the stream. He's actually in the chat right now. I see you. I see you, Earl. We're going to light it up right here on the channel. I got the comb out. We're going to light it up with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of like Campbell's soup, man. I'm just so good. Everybody wants a piece of the Storms Meister. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion, the advertisements. We're going to get right into the news, rumors, reports, the matches, the preview, the predictions, everything AEW Revolution related. Let's start with the buy-in. The buy-in, they actually stacked up the buy-in. And one thing that I love about AEW, man, is the fact that they don't just treat the buy-in as if it's not part of the pay-per-view. They don't treat the buy-in as if it is just a secondary part of their pay-per-views. They actually make the buy-in somewhat important, and they really put an emphasis that, hey, you should go and watch the buy-in, and you have all of these top-tier talents on the buy-in. You take a look at the buy-in over the course of the last couple of pay-per-views, and they've really put some solid matchups on the buy-in to get you excited for the show. We had Serena Deeb and Riho for the NWA Women's World Championship not that long ago back at Double or Nothing buy-in. Then we had Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida versus, I believe it was Nyla Rose and I can't remember. I think it was someone else. I can't remember who exactly it was. But regardless, we had some great women's action on the buy-in at the last pay-per-view. They really make sure that they make the buy-in important and say, hey, people, you got to go out and watch the buy-in because we got some top-tier talent on it. And one of the matches we got is Hook versus QT Marshall. I'm actually going to throw this one over to you first. Let me get your expertise analysis and your prediction on this match.
Yeah, dude, Hook all the way. I mean, like, you're not going to end Hook's streak with QT Marshall or whatever. So this is what's going to happen. And you know damn well this is what's going to happen. They're probably going to kick off the entire show with this. You're going to have Hook be the first one out there. Maybe Marshall's the first one out there, whatever. And Hook's going to kick his ass. It's going to be quick. But I'm going to say this because we all know QT Marshall is a veteran. You know, used to be Pepper Parks, I believe, many years ago, something like that. I think he's been around. Maybe I'm getting him confused with another guy. Can't remember. But anyway, he's been around for a long time. So he'll show Hook some adversity. He'll probably use some kind of I don't know, underhanded tactics, some kind of heel villainry to give Hook some adversity, but we know what's going to happen. Choke out, middle of the ring, red rum, Hook's going to win. And the momentum's just going to continue. I don't know at what point you do really push forward Hook into a program where perhaps he's getting into contention for the TNT title. Perhaps he's moving into something a little more with a little more of a higher end talent. But eventually that's going to have to happen. Not yet, though. Not yet. We're fine right now with this slow build, building him up the card. So this is going to be a squash, Hook all the way.
Yeah, I actually love the overall booking of Hook. That's someone that they really knocked it out of the park with, and they've been taking their time with it. And he's only going to get better over time. That's the best part about it. If he's this good right now, then he's only going to get better over time, especially with the fact that he's got his father, Taz, who is probably one of the best brawlers in the history of professional wrestling, and he's probably one of the most intense individuals in the history of professional wrestling. And that's definitely something that I love about Hook, is that he has the wrestling blood running through his veins. And QT Marshall, I think this is actually going to be a pretty decent match. I don't think that this is just going to be a flat out squash. I think they'll probably give it a little more time, maybe 7-8 minutes, because you got an hour with 3 matches. You could actually give all those matches ample amount of time within 1 hour. You can give them at least 10 to 15 minutes within 1 hour. 3 matches, 10 to 15 minutes. That's actually a very good time for all of those matches. But as far as Hook and QT Marshall goes, yeah, there's no reason to have Hook lose. And this is actually a great way to get Hook on the pay-per-view and showcase him in front of a pay-per-view audience. If you're asking what would we do to actually generate some interest in Hook, I would actually put the FTW World Championship title on him, because Hook is as hot as ever. And I actually thought that Jay Lethal was actually going to beat Ricky Starks and win the FTW World Championship not that long ago. And then we were going to see Jay Lethal versus Hook down the line, potentially at a double or nothing, with Hook inevitably winning the title. But I do think he may get the FTW World Championship at some point, because right now Ricky Starks is great, but he's not really doing too much with it. He's had great matches when he defends the championship, but there's not really too much hype surrounding the FTW championship. I would definitely put it on Hook. When, I don't necessarily know, but right now, Hook and QT Marshall, I think they're definitely going to come in, and they're definitely going to do their job getting Hook more over, and we're going to be pushing forward with Hook, slow build, and in due time, the kid's going to be a big star. He's definitely going to be a big star.
No doubt about that. I just want to fact check myself real quick. QT Marshall wasn't Pepper Parks. That was the Blade. The Blade was Pepper Parks. I had that confused. So my bad on that one. QT Marshall's always been QT Marshall. And yeah, I'm with you, man. The FTW title would be a great thing for him to have, since his dad created it. His dad is the one that made it. I'm a huge Taz mark, bro. I met Taz back in 2000. Night before he was set to face the Big Boss Man and Prince Albert in a handicap match at No Way Out that year, brother. And met him, talked to him for 2 minutes, got an 8x10 signed, and it was a great experience. I've always loved Taz. I've been a big mark since I was a kid. So, I mean, it's just natural that I like Hook. I think Hook's a beast, and there's a lot of callbacks to the Taz character with Hook, a ton of them. So I expect to see a lot more out of that in the future.
I absolutely love Taz on commentary. When Taz is on commentary, I swear to God, the guy is so hilarious. And whenever he's singing the wrestlers' theme songs, I don't know why. That's like probably one of the best parts of the show for me. I mean, the shows are great, but I mean, Taz is just so fucking funny when they allow him to go out there.
All-time great wrestler, all-time great commentator, for sure.
Amen. Next match, we got Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander. This has been building for a decent amount of time, and Layla Hirsch, she recently just turned heel not that long ago. She has been slowly coming along, and obviously Statlander, her time will come, but right now she's not necessarily in the position to win championships. I do believe that she will be either a TBS or a AEW Women's Champion potentially towards the end of the year. But right now, the storyline is with Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander. I think that they could very well hit a good stride with Layla Hirsch in due time. And what they've been doing right now has been pretty solid. I expect a Layla Hirsch victory here. Specifically because, and we'll talk about this later on, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, they have their AEW Women's World Championship match later on in the show. I fully expect Thunder Rosa to win the championship. And you notice what Tony Khan has been doing. All the women he's been building up under Thunder Rosa. He's been building up Serena Deeb. He's been building up Layla Hirsch. He's been building up Nyla Rose. All of these three women are heels, and Thunder Rosa is going to need people to face before we inevitably get new people like a Tony Storm, Nixon Newell, Athena coming on in, possibly a Taya Valkyrie if they want to bring her in, possibly some women that are ready to come up from dark. So you have these three heels set in line to face off against Thunder Rosa after she inevitably beats Britt Baker. And that's one of the things that I love about what Tony Khan is doing with the women's division. He has people set in place to face off against their champions when we inevitably get to that moment. And I do see that Layla Hirsch is going to get the victory here. She's undefeated in 2022, and I fully expect her to be a challenger for Thunder Rosa sometime after Revolution. I got Layla Hirsch in this one. It should be a pretty solid match. They had a pretty decent match back on Rampage Christmas Day edition. I believe it only went about 7 minutes, so that was just a taste of what they could do. I think they're actually going to outdo what they did here.
Yeah, I hate to agree with you, but I gotta. I mean, this is exactly what I was thinking. Basically, those same points you made is if you're going to move the belt, the main AEW Women's Championship from Britt Baker to Thunder Rosa tonight's the night, and you need heels for her to wrestle, especially new ones, especially ones that are built up over the course of weeks and months. So it makes sense when she has a new challenger. That challenger has some validity behind them. That challenger has some heat. They've been doing things to like build up them as a eventual challenger, and that's what Layla Hirsch is doing. Obviously, they see great potential in her. There's a lot of potential in Layla Hirsch. She's like a bowling ball out there, man. She's just like jacked and strong and can really go. So
she's short as all hell, though. Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's tiny, but like she's short, but those legs are gigantic, and she can hang with anybody in there. You know what I mean? So yeah. I expect her to really be a force in this division moving forward. That they're really high in her. She's a homegrown talent. I think she takes care of Chris Statlander tonight. Statlander's had, title shot after title shot. She's been kind of hanging around. I think eventually the alien thing's got to go to the wayside at some point. I don't know what they're going to do with her moving forward, but yeah, Layla Hirsch for basically the same reasons you said, bro.
I don't necessarily think the alien thing has been too overaccentuated. It's kind of just there. It's not necessarily overaccentuated. Their main focus is the fact that she is a fantastic wrestler, especially that match with Britt Baker back at All Out. That was very, very, very good. They know exactly what they're doing with Chris Statlander. I do believe that she will be a viable contender down the line, but this is Layla Hirsch's time, and I can see Layla Hirsch potentially facing off against Thunder Rosa. I want to say maybe at Double or Nothing, and I say that only because of the fact that Serena Deeb and the fact that she has been just tearing through everyone as of lately. Serena Deeb, I can see getting the shot at Thunder Rosa at Battle of the Belts and losing only because I can see Serena Deeb either as a finalist or as the whole entire winner of the Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament. That's the only reason why I say Thunder Rosa and Layla Hirsch at Double or Nothing. And then I do believe we'll probably be getting Nyla Rose after that. We'll probably get someone like a Nixon Newell. And then maybe I can definitely see Athena. And then ultimately, maybe Chris Statlander takes it from Thunder Rosa at Full Gear at the end of the year. But this is a Layla Hirsch victory. I don't expect anything less. One match that I'm actually looking forward to the most on the buy-in and possibly the entire show, just because of what these six men can do. The House of Black. This is Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews versus Pac, Penta Oscuro, and Eric Redbeard. Now, first things first, I'm actually shocked, but at the same time, very happy that Eric Redbeard is getting this opportunity. Eric Redbeard, he's not going to be the guy, but he's very, very good at what he does. He's got a great look. He looked great. He looked like he's ready to rip someone's head off when he showed up on Rampage. He has such an intimidating presence that he could be a very, very, very good hand in a serious, dominant group over there. And I can definitely see them bringing in Wyndham Rotunda at some point. And I see that happening after Adam Page inevitably loses the World Championship. I don't think Eric Redbeard is signed yet. I think this is a one-off. until after Double or Nothing, because I can see Adam Page and the Dark Order. They're going to have some tensions brewing there after Page loses his title. We're inevitably going to see Wyndham come in. He's going to recruit the Dark Order. He's going to kick out the weak. He'll probably kick out a John Silver. He'll probably kick out an Alex Reynolds because they don't need the Dark Order. They're already over it as all hell. He'll probably kick out an Alan Angels. Then he'll introduce Eric Redbeard. And we could very well get Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, Eric Redbeard, and Wyndham Rotunda in there as the Dark Order. And the first feud that I can see Wyatt going into, or Wyndham Rotunda, is Wyndham versus Hangman at All Out this year. But that's down the line. As far as now, I think that this is going to be a very, 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 very good six-man tag. This is probably the sleeper match of the entire night. I've been loving what they're doing with the House of Black. And the Trios Championships, they're not very far behind. And when we inevitably get those Trios titles, I'm looking at the House of Black as our first champions. On top of that, we got a very, very good scenario where Buddy Matthews and Brody King, they could be the tag team, and Malachi could potentially move up the ladder and fight for a TNT or an AEW World Championship. There's a lot of possibilities that you can throw in with this, but I expect this to be nothing short of a fucking banger, and I'm going with the House of Black.
Yeah, it's going to be a sick match. I'm going with the House of Black as well. I like your fantasy booking. I like your fantasy booking scenario. That's pretty cool. I dig that. I don't know when or if Wyndham Rotunda is coming into AEW. I heard there's from what I have heard, and I don't know if you've heard the same, that he's asking for a substantial amount of money, and that is where the collision came within the conversation, similar to that of what Cody Rhodes wanted, and that's where that kind of like came to a head. So I don't know. I don't know if that's true either. I have no idea, but
it's all like a fantasy type of deal at this rate.
Yeah, I like your fantasy booking scenario. I think that's really cool. I think the House of Black, you have to get Buddy Matthews. That's what he's going by, right? Buddy Matthews. You have to get him a win. I think he's the one that takes the W tonight. I think he's the one that somehow secures the pinfall. Eric Redbeard's awesome. I've always been a fan of Rowan. I've never had an issue. I know I'm calling him Rowan. I mean, that's what we all know him as. I've never had an issue with that guy. I've always thought he's served his purpose well. I was a big fan of like the Bludgeon Brothers and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool stuff back in the day. The Wyatt family, of course. Even like when he had the spider in a cage thing on Raw, I was like intrigued. I was wondering what this is going to be. Every week I was wondering what he was going to do with this thing in the cage. I always like the guy, so I'm glad he's getting an opportunity here in AEW. I think they're going to put on a great match. It's going to be hard hitting, fast paced, and it's awesome that it's on the buy-in, that they actually had a spot on the card for this match, and it wasn't just, no offense to Dynamite or Rampage or Dark or whatever, but it wasn't relegated to just a TV show. It's on the pay-per-view, and that shows you that they're serious about these two factions and how they're going to move forward with them. And the trios title idea is phenomenal as well. I think that goes without a doubt. That will happen. They've been setting the table for that for a really long time. There's so many trios in the company. Why not do it? But yeah, let's go with House of Black. Let's go with Buddy getting the win here, though. I think it's important that in his first match on the roster that he picks up the W. So that's what I got.
I can also see after this show and potential this match, I can definitely see a match between Pac and Malachi on Dynamite at some point, which will
totally.
Holy shit! Totally. Take my fucking money right there. Take my money there. But
definitely, that would be a banger. It'd be a banger. Two former NXT champions going at it. That would be nice.
Now that's some good shit. So we're House of Black across the board here. Let's go to the main show. We got, I actually don't know what's going to kick off the main show, but whatever kicks off the show, I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. We got Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks. This is a triple threat tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I'm actually very glad that they went this route because this right here, there's a lot of stories being told with this match. Jurassic Express, obviously, they got their moment. They're the champions. They've been doing a phenomenal job. They have been putting on great tag team title defenses on Rampage against the Gun Club, Private Party, and Silver and Reynolds. Really good stuff right there. They are over as all hell. And then you got Red Dragon and the Young Bucks, who are currently embroiled in the storyline with Adam Cole. And it seems as though any day now, it could be tonight, it could be sometime after tonight, either on Dynamite, Rampage, at some point, we're going to see the return of Kenny Omega. And what I see happening after this match, we're going to get the match that everyone has been salivating at ever since Adam Cole joined the company. And then we had Bobby Fish, and then we had Kyle O'Reilly. It's going to be the former Undisputed Era, or the Paragon, as they're calling themselves, versus Omega and the Bucks. And I have every ounce of confidence that they are going to do everything in their power to outdo what the Shield and the Wyatts did back at Elimination Chamber 2014. That match is wildly touted as the greatest six-man tag team match of all time. These guys could outdo it. And with that being said, I don't see Jurassic Express losing this match. I'm not going to be mad if they do. But I don't see them losing this match specifically because Red Dragon and the Young Bucks, there's a bigger story going on with Red Dragon and the Young Bucks, and that storyline doesn't necessarily need the championships. Jurassic Express, they need a big win. This would be a big win. I see them retaining in a chaotic fight, and they could very well pin the Bucks because the Bucks, they're already made men. You want to protect Red Dragon because Red Dragon will inevitably be the tag team champions sometime down the line. I say next year, and I'll tell you why once we get to the Tornadoes Trios match that we're going to talk about. But I expect this to be a chaotic fight. I expect this to be all over the fucking place, and I expect the Jurassic Express win. I see them going into Double or Nothing, and they're going to build up Proud and Powerful. I think that they have definitely been waiting a long time, and now a lot of the year ones that have been there since the beginning, like Wardlow, like Proud and Powerful, I think this is going to be the year where they finally get their moment. And Proud and Powerful, with how good they've been and the fact that they have been teasing a heel turn, I think they're going to be the top heel tag team going into the summer. And I see Jurassic Express, Proud and Powerful, Double or Nothing, with Proud and Powerful winning the tag team titles and taking those titles into the summer and into the fall. It's going to be a fun time for the tag team division, that's for sure. I see a Jurassic Express win here.
Really great outlook there, man. I see Jurassic Express winning as well. And that's part of the reason is because obviously there's this conflict between the Young Bucks and Red Dragon. I know you mentioned the Young Bucks might take the L here, the loss somehow because they're made. But isn't Bobby Fish always the fall guy? Isn't Bobby Fish seemingly always the guy to take the pin? So I don't see any difference. Yeah, I think for somehow, some way, Bobby Fish takes the pin. He usually is. He's usually the guy.
Well, but that's technically only if it's a regular tag team match. But at the end of it, with the Bucks inevitably losing, obviously that could add fuel to the fire between Red Dragon and Adam Cole towards the Bucks. And I do believe that Red Dragon and the Bucks will show face in the main event for the World Championship.
Oh, yeah.
And that definitely will add even more fuel on Dynamite when we inevitably see Adam Cole finally side with Red Dragon.
Yeah, that's a good point. If they're trying to add heat to the rivalry, that makes sense that the Young Bucks take the fall. You know that they don't like losing and they despise having to take an L to Red Dragon. You know that for a fact. But, I think it's important to not lose focus of Jurassic Express here. These two guys, they've been built up as a family-friendly, fun type of gimmick. When they
love them. The theme song, everyone's doing it. They love them.
Dude, when I went to Dynamite and Rampage a few weeks ago in Atlantic City, my one critique of the show is it was long. It was just a long, like double, triple taping. It had Dark, it had Dynamite, it had Rampage back to back to back, right? So by the time you got to the main event of Rampage, which was Jurassic Express versus the ass guy, the Gun Club, what do they call them? The Ass Men or something.
The Ass Boys.
Gotta
love Danhausen, man. Gotta love Danhausen.
So we're there. We're at a bachelor party, and we were like, we got to get out of here. We got to continue the night. We got to go do something else. So my buddy, who was the bachelor that night, he wanted to just see Jurassic Express's entrance, and then he was good to leave. We didn't even watch the match. We got out of there because he wanted to experience the entrance. You know what I mean? So that's a big part of their shtick. That's a big part of their gimmick. That's a big part of the fact that they're going to be pushed forward as AEW homegrown talent that hold these belts, I think, for quite a while. I don't think they're going to drop them anytime soon. I do like Santana and Ortiz. I think it's about time that they get a run with the belts. But I don't know, man. I think Jurassic Express holding on to the titles definitely tonight. Into the future, they'll definitely hold them, I think, until the next pay-per-view, and we'll see what happens then. We'll see what's going on. They do need a rivalry.
That's a solid reign for them. That's a solid, like 150 days. Nice solid reign for them. Establishes themselves. No transitional champions type deal, and they go over to Proud and Powerful.
Yeah, and they just had this rivalry with the Young Bucks too. Anyway, with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, they had that 6-man a couple months ago. So
Full
this
gear.
kind of finishes that scenario completely, I would think. They move away from the Young Bucks totally, and something meaningful, because they've been a side note in this tag team title rivalry, kind of. They haven't been really, not too much has been going on. I know they've been attacked a few times backstage and whatnot. There's been some stuff going on, but they've kind of been the side note, right? So after this, they get the W, then they can move on to something meaningful. So we're on the same page with this one as well, pretty much.
Moving on here, we got the TBS Championship, Jade Cargill and Ty Conti. I'm a big Ty Conti guy. She has definitely come a long way. She's very much improved from where she was. Definitely the most improved wrestler in the women's division of 2021. Really good stuff here from Ty Conti. We saw that great match with Britt Baker back at Full Gear. I was actually thought that was going to be the lull match of the show, but holy shit, they blew away everyone's expectations right there. Definitely a great fucking showcase for Ty Conti. Jade Cargill. One thing I've noticed about Jade Cargill is we all know that final match with Ruby Soho on the first episode of Dynamite on TBS. We know that match was terrible. That match absolutely sucked. But one thing that I feel as though she did is she knew it sucked. She knew she was off. She knew she did not do well. She took that and she said to herself, I'm going to fucking work my ass off and I'm going to get better so that way I don't have another scenario like that ever again. And so far, I will say this. I was not expecting the title reign to go as decently as it has thus far. It has been fairly okay. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been great. But she has done fairly okay for herself. She had a very good match with Anna Jay a couple weeks ago on Rampage. She had a very nice showcase match against AQA a couple weeks ago on Dynamite. She hasn't been doing bad at all. She's carried herself very nicely. And the fact that she's training with Bryan Danielson, that goes to show you that she actually fucking cares. And she's not just going to sit around and just be complacent just because she's the champion and she has a great look. She legitimately wants to be better. And I respect that out of Jade Cargill. I actually think that Ty Conti is going to bring Jade to her best match so far. And if Jade continues to improve slowly, which is fine, she's improving slowly, but if she continues to improve like she is right now, especially with Ty Conti in the ring with her, and the fact that she's been getting a little bit more fluid in what she's doing, she continues to get more fluid in what she's doing, then even after she loses that TBS championship, I feel as though she's going to be a really, really, really big star in due time. She could very well be the women's world champion probably in the next 2 to 3 years, I would say, somewhere in between that vicinity range. And Ty Conti, she's definitely going to be a champion. I would definitely say if this was maybe June, July, or August, yeah, Ty Conti's going to win. No. You just put the title on Jade 2 months ago. It would be foolish to take the title off of her. This is a Jade Cargill victory right here. I feel as though she's going to have a nice, solid performance against Ty Conti. Ty Conti's going to look good in defeat, and Jade Cargill is going to continue her undefeated streak. I don't know who's going to take it off of her. It could honestly be anyone. Maybe they do Chris Statlander taking the TBS championship instead of the women's world championship off of Thunder Rosa. Maybe we have someone like an Athena. Maybe we have someone like a Nixon Newell. Maybe we have someone like the Tony Storm. Maybe someone that comes up from dark has a great showing in the Owen Hart Cup tournament for the women. There are various routes that they can go. But ultimately right here, I see a Jade Cargill victory. I don't see her losing that title until the summer.
Yeah, I'm with you again here, brother. I'm huge on Jade Cargill. A lot of people give her a lot of shit. I see it on Twitter all the time. I think she's amazing. There's nobody like her. You can't replicate her. You can't look around the industry and find another woman that looks anything like her, that can do the things she does, that has that confidence the way she does.
She's in great shape. She's been doing very well. And if she keeps improving, hey, I'm all for that. Good for her.
Sure, she's green. Obviously, I think that's a part of it, is the fact that she's green and she's improving all the time. She's going to have the matches that suck. That's for sure. She doesn't have the benefit of being able to tour the house shows scene or like work the indies or any of that stuff. She's not doing that. She's working TV every week. She's trying to train in her off time. She's 29 years old. She got into the business a little bit later in life, and she's a natural athlete. So I do think she wins, she retains. And I also believe that when the time comes where she does drop that belt, she's an immediate contender for the women's championship without a doubt. I think immediately, depending on where they go storyline wise, honestly, but I think immediately she's in the contention. But it will be against somebody who's debuting. I think it'll be an open challenge scenario. That's when she'll drop it. Open challenge. Somebody comes in who's got a lot of hype, and that is who beats Jade Cargill. I don't see a situation where they're building up a feud with an established star that takes the belt off her. I think it's going to be like, I'll give an example. This is a really old school example, but back in the day when the Honky Tonk Man finally lost the Intercontinental Championship to the Ultimate Warrior, that was a situation where Honky Tonk Man came to the ring, said, anybody back there, come on out. Anybody come on out. And I'll defend the title right now. Ultimate Warrior ran down to the ring, beat him in about 12 seconds. Place went absolutely nuts, and the rest is history for the Ultimate Warrior's career. I think they have the opportunity to do kind of the same thing. Catch Jade Cargill off guard, catch her on an off night, and that's how they take the title away from her. I don't think it happens tonight. I think Tay Conti's great as well. I'm a fan. I loved her when she was in NXT. I was a big fan. I was like, there's something about this woman. Like, she's got the positivity. She's got the confidence. She's beautiful. Like, there was definitely something about her. I was shocked when WWE let her slip away. And eventually she's going to get her reward as well for improving and for, being in a relationship with Sammy Guevara, which, is going to reap benefits for both of their careers as far as monetarily, and also hopefully they're happy. So that's great too. So I think both are rising stars in the division.
Sammy done good. Sammy done good for himself.
Really talk about an upgrade, right? You talk about going from like a standard package to the top tier model. I mean, hey, but I don't mean to be mean, but hey, but also I do think both have tremendous talent for the future. But tonight I think is Jade Cargill's night. I wouldn't be mad if Tay Conti somehow won. It would be interesting. It would be intriguing, but I don't think it's going to happen tonight.
I don't necessarily think Jade's going to just drop it in the open challenge. Tony Khan's not necessarily about that. Tony Khan is definitely going to build up someone. It's going to be a new signing for sure, but I feel as though they're definitely going to build said signing up before they inevitably give said signing Jade Cargill's undefeated streak and that championship. I don't think it's just going to be a surprise out of nowhere. That would actually undo everything that they did with Jade Cargill.
Not necessarily. Not if the manager screws up or something, like, Mark Sterling's out there. I think that's going to eventually be the bane of her existence. That guy's a nerd. I think he eventually screws up somehow and causes her to lose. I think that's very possible. And then
he doesn't even get involved though. He
does.
Then not necessarily.
He does.
Usually, but he doesn't physically get involved. He's probably talking to the ref maybe once in a blue moon, but for the most part, it's always Jade winning on her own. For the most part, it's maybe it's like 90% Jade and maybe 10% Mark.
Eventually you break her away from him and she's a monster babyface, man. She kicks his ass in the ring. She lays him out. She power bombs him, something like that. Eventually when she breaks away from him, that's like a heel. That's like Andre the Giant breaking away from Bobby the Brain.
I can't see Jade as a babyface. She just has the charisma of a heel, man. Britt Baker, I can see as a babyface, not Jay Cargill.
You wait and see, man. She's Goldberg. Like, a lot of people didn't see Goldberg as a babyface, and before you know it, bro, that dude got to the races.
She's already better than Goldberg. What you talking about? She's better than Goldberg.
When she breaks away from that manager, and that's going to happen
anyway.
Yeah. There's nowhere else. Like, when she breaks away from that guy, she's a babyface immediately because that guy's a dork, and she'll break away from him. That nerd will be gone. Hopefully, he's useless. I'm not a Mark Sterling guy. I think that guy's a dork. I think he sucks. So I
think he's doing his job. Then he's
you
doing
like
his
him.
job. I'm not saying I like him. I'm not like a Mark for Mark, but I will say this: he plays his role very. He plays the chicken shit squirmy manager. He plays it well. He's almost like I don't want to make comparisons, but he's like a great value Bobby Heenan because he's weaselly.
Yeah, he's a weasel for sure, but he's not just a great, he's a bottom barrel Bobby Heenan, bro. He is not even close to this strategy. He's not even Jimmy Hart. Like, this guy.
Oh, no, he's not.
No. Like, he's going to eventually be the bane of her existence. I think that's going to be the reason she eventually loses the belt. He's, in storyline, he could be the reason why she got it. And that's what he can claim. And then he could also be the reason why she loses it. That's what she can claim. And then you're off to the races. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think tonight, no doubt, no brainer, Jade Cargill all the way.
When does Jade Cargill drop that title? All Out?
I think it's sooner rather than later, to be honest. I think, give her maybe another 6 months. I don't know how long they want to build this thing up for
6 months
her
would be
undefeated
all
streak.
out. Yeah, 6 months
Yeah,
would be all out.
there you go. Undefeated streak. I mean, that's a slippery slope. How long do you go for with an undefeated streak? When's the right time? If you give it to somebody who's brand new on the roster, a big star, Tony Storm, who I think obviously she's made, or maybe somebody who hasn't been released yet by WWE, who perhaps gets released. I don't know. It's tough to say. Or maybe like a Deonna Purrazzo. Imagine
Oh, and she's
ROH.
absolutely going there when her contract is up, dude. She's
I mean,
absolutely he's gonna kick some fucking ass over there.
that would be a no-brainer. I mean, if she debuts and she debuts against Jade Cargill, that's a different story. I mean, that's an up in competition. We'll see, man. It's interesting. It's interesting to say the least, because when she loses the belt, she also loses her undefeated streak. So that's an interesting scenario. You're going to have somebody important. Something's going to have to happen with
TV
that.
every week, so it's not like she's gaining a victory every week. It's like every 3-4 weeks or so. So they haven't been overexposing her, which is also a great thing.
Yes,
they're booking her just right. So if what is she? I think she's 20. She's going to be 29-0 after this. So if you want to go to maybe like 40 or 50, I think maybe after 50
50's fine.
Yeah, 50's fine.
50, yeah, but remember,
all out. Yeah.
Again, that's also, she loses the belt and the undefeated streak at the same time. You're going to have a story with that. You can't just have her lose and nothing happen. Something's going to have to happen. Something big's going to have to happen. It's not going to be a footnote. I don't think, anyway.
Well, I think she'll probably take a few weeks or a few months off of TV anyway, because at that point in time, after 8 months with the TNT and the TBS championship, and an undefeated streak of 50-0, right then and there, you could already consider her a made woman right there.
Makes sense. Yeah.
With everything rolled up into one, the look, and she'll get better over time in the ring, the promo ability, the charisma, the title, the undefeated streak. You could consider her a made woman after that. I could see her taking like maybe a month or two off of television, recharge her batteries a little bit, and then maybe she can come back when Tony Khan has something for her, because you're going to have more women like Deonna and Tony. They're going to have to get their time too. It's all about who gets their time first. But yeah, tonight, Jade Cargill all the way.
I'm with you. Definitely.
Let's go to the second women's match on the show. We got Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Thunder Rosa. And I would not want to be in Thunder Rosa's vicinity range when that woman is angry. Holy shit. That woman is terrifying when she's angry. This is going to be a very, very good wrestling match. I expect a very solid wrestling match right here. I expect these two women to really pull out all the stops and really make this match something to remember. I do believe that Thunder Rosa did debunk the rumor that she was injured. I mean, if she's still doing the match on Sunday, then I don't think this injury is that serious. I don't think that she's not going to be competing every week. She wins here, and she's not going to be competing every week. The next time she can compete is maybe like a month down the line when we get the Battle of the Belt show, and that will be your first title defense. So we need to book Thunder Rosa like Hangman Page. Hangman Page wrestles when he competes for the World Championship. That's how a champion should be booked. But again, very good wrestling match. I love the long-term booking here. Almost 1 year to the day of the infamous or famous, depending on how you look at it, lights out unsanctioned match in which Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker tore the fucking house down. The first time that two women main evented Dynamite, the first time that we had a lights out unsanctioned match for the women in AEW, and probably the best feud in AEW history. And I did say that this match, after that lights out unsanctioned match, this match would be a women's championship match and program down the line. And lo and behold, shout out to actually Top Rope Squishy again, because she was the chick that actually claimed that Thunder Rosa was going to win it at Revolution. I predicted Full Gear a couple months back, so props to her. But we got this match at Revolution. It's absolutely the right time. Britt Baker, she can take some time off, recharge her batteries, and she'll probably come back in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I'd actually like to see Jamie Hayter break away. And Jamie Hayter, she can potentially move up the ladder. She can get a shot at a Britt Baker and then maybe get a women's title match against a Jade Cargill. I can see Jamie Hayter as a potential Jade Cargill opponent. Jamie Hayter as a babyface. I think that they could do some real good damage with Jamie Hayter as a babyface, and she can go and face Britt in one of the rounds of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. There's a long-term story right there. There's a lot of different routes that they can go as far as that goes, but all in all, it will be a Thunder Rosa victory here tonight. It is the right time. It is the right outcome. It is the perfect opportunity to do so. And at the end of it, Thunder Rosa will inevitably take the championship. And like we talked about earlier with Layla Hirsch and Serena Deeb, Nyla Rose, they are going to be opponents for Thunder Rosa. We'll probably get, again, a Tegan Knox or Nixon Newell, Athena, all of those women. Deonna Purrazzo maybe Deonna Purrazzo slides in there. I'm not sure when her contract is up as far as Impact goes, but it's definitely an interesting scenario. Maybe we get some Ring of Honor women, because Ring of Honor, Tony Khan, changing the business right there. He bought Ring of Honor. Maybe we see some Ring of Honor women move up the rankings. Maybe Ring of Honor, since I think Deonna Purrazzo is the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, if I'm not mistaken.
She is.
Maybe we see Deonna Purrazzo slide in and fight Thunder Rosa in the same manner that Thunder Rosa slid in to fight Hikaru Shida back at All Out of 2020. Champion versus champion right there. Maybe that's the women's title match for Double or Nothing, because Layla Hirsch, she's great and she could surprise a lot of people, but I don't think that's a pay-per-view level championship match. Not yet, at least. But I do think that would be a great scenario if they do want to do champion versus champion, Deonna and Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa could do what Shida did to Thunder Rosa a couple years back. That would be a very nice angle, a similar angle to what they did back then, and they could bring that up on commentary as well to add some layers to the story. Britt Baker, I don't know where she goes. Again, I can see her in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. It's a very, very interesting scenario to say the least. But I think these two women are going to put on a very good pro wrestling match, and we will see Thunder Rosa as the new AEW Women's World Champion. It is time.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I mean, we're basically on the same page here. I think this is a no-brainer. If you're going to do it, what better time than now? I'm a massive Britt Baker fan. It almost pains me to say that she's probably going to lose the title tonight. But I think there's a point in time where you have to move forward and try something different. And I don't know, perhaps, and now I'm big on turning, babyface heel type thing, changing up the character dynamic, changing things. I do have a feeling that, her entourage is going to get involved tonight, Jamie Hayter and Rebel. I do think perhaps Mercedes Martinez gets involved. She's a part of the storyline as well as an ally to Thunder Rosa. Maybe that's a double cross scenario where Mercedes stabs Thunder Rosa from the back and is actually on Britt Baker's side the whole time. And that's where Britt Baker retains that belt somehow. I don't know. But I think that if you're going to do it, you do it at a pay-per-view. You do it at a pay-per-view like this with a lot of buildup, a lot of intrigue. They've had the lights out match, which everybody loved, but you got to remember this too, right? Thunder Rosa got the win in that match. Okay. She got the win.
It did not count.
Didn't count, but does she get another win over Britt Baker? Right. That's where I'm a little bit now that I'm kind of talking it out. I'm a little bit kind of convincing myself here that Britt Baker might actually win tonight. Because maybe Britt Baker beat her
twice already. She beat her at Beach Break, and then she beat her on the buy-in for Revolution last year in a tag team match. She pinned her. But Thunder Rosa never technically beaten Britt Baker.
But was the title on the line?
No, the title wasn't on the line, but Britt Baker was the woman that beat Thunder Rosa twice. And Thunder Rosa's never technically gotten a victory. Now Britt Baker is she's at the peak of her career. She's done all she could. She's beaten everyone. She's beaten Nyla. She's beaten Red Velvet, Chris Statlander, Ruby Soho, Ty Conti, Rio. It's time, man.
Do they turn her babyface? Do they turn Britt Baker babyface after this?
After this, I can see it. I can see it too. Britt Baker is going to have a babyface run at some point, whether it be after this reign is over, and maybe we see it manifest into the summertime. Maybe we see it next year. I don't know, but what happens afterwards, Britt Baker is already a made woman. So Britt Baker, I feel as though she'll probably slide into a scenario where she is putting a few other women over. She'll definitely put over Jamie Hayter because Jamie Hayter, she's definitely going to move up. Jamie Hayter, she's got it too. Just like Jade Cargill,
Yeah,
Jamie
she's
Hayter's
great.
got it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, let's go with Thunder Rosa. Put me down for Thunder Rosa for the win here. I do think there might be shenanigans. I think there's going to be a lot of involvement from everybody in this match. There's going to be a lot of smoke and mirrors that happen. Somehow that's going to lead likely to Thunder Rosa getting the win here. But yeah, I do think there's the possibility that somehow Britt Baker retains and they keep moving forward with her as champion. They really love her. They look at her as their number one women's wrestler, no doubt about it. I think that goes without saying.
Charlotte Flair, Britt Baker, everyone's going to want to hang themselves.
I mean that you get into that territory after some time, right? But I think Thunder Rosa, if you give Thunder Rosa the belt, then you open up a lot of different matches and possibilities and just take a different turn in the story. And you could always pivot back to Britt Baker in the future. And of course, as you keep mentioning, the Owen Hart tournament, that's something where you don't know who's going to win that either. So there's a lot of scenarios at play here. But let's go with Thunder Rosa tonight. I think this is a good time for her to win the belt. And just move the division into a new direction.
We got Andrade El Idolo versus Isaiah Cassidy versus Matt Hardy. Or excuse me.
No, it was a team.
Three are teaming up. Excuse me. Andrade El Idolo, Isaiah Cassidy, and Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Sting. Tornado 6-man tag team match. Now, a lot of people are asking why this match was on the card. There is a very simple reason why this was on the card. It's a very simple reason.
Dude, the real quick, here's my real quick before you get into it. Sting, dude. You're not going to put Sting on the freaking pre-show. You're not going to put Sting and that's not going to happen. You're going to put Sting on the pay-per-view.
That's not the reason, but a lot of people are wondering why the triple threat match between Darby, Andrade, and Sammy wasn't on the show. Now, that was pay-per-view worthy on Rampage. Holy shit. Fantastic fucking match right there. But the simple reason is Matt Hardy, because this is going to be the final straw for Matt. Matt has been walking out on the AHFO because his guys keep losing. This will be the final straw, and in comes Jeff. And we will be off to the races with one final Hardy Boys run. It's simple. This is a part of a story. So for people that are complaining, there is a story as to why each match is taking place. It's not just thrown on the card to get everybody on the card. On top of that, like you did say, that's another reason I guess you could say you're not going to leave Sting and Darby off the card. Plus, Sting and Darby, Darby's kind of been hot and cold as of lately. He hasn't really, I'm not saying he's not over. I'm saying he hasn't really been getting too many big wins. I think his last pay-per-view win was actually, or big win rather, was actually in the coffin match against Ethan Page back in July. He's going to need a big win. And what better way to do that than to do that on a pay-per-view in a big 6-man tag team match that's inevitably going to be all over the fucking place. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So at the end of it all, I can't complain about this match. It's going to be a great fucking match. It's going to be a great fucking match. I think they're actually trying to outdo themselves. Who can get more insane? And that's what I love about it. Is this
a tornado tag match?
Yes,
okay, so there you go. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Chaotic.
And people are complaining about that. It goes to show you how stupid people are. But anyway, with these 6 guys, Sammy, obviously he is phenomenal at what he does. Sammy has been kicking ass as the TNT champion. He's been on fucking fire.
He's awesome.
Sammy's been on fire. And Sammy will absolutely be a top contender for the World Championship at some point. I actually believe Sammy will be a World Championship contender this year, and we're going to talk about that why when we get into the MJF CM Punk dog collar match. Darby and Sting, they're fantastic. I've been loving the tag team with those guys. I've been loving the storyline with those guys. And sooner rather than later, we will see Sting turn on Darby. We're going to get the Sting versus Darby match, and that will propel Darby Allin up into the World Championship title picture. And that's one of the main reasons why Sting was brought in. He was brought in to make Darby Allin into a bigger star. And when Darby inevitably beats Sting, he's moving up the ladder. He's going to be fighting for the World Championship, and it's going to be good. We got Andrade, who is doing some good stuff as well. He's been putting on great matches ever since he got in with Pac, Cody, and now Darby and Sammy. He's been doing good for himself. Not his time yet, but it will come. Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, they haven't really been there. They haven't really been all that hot with the HFO. It's probably the worst thing in AEW right now, the HFO. And the only reason why they did it is they were just trying to keep Matt Hardy doing something until Jeff inevitably came in. That was pretty much it. That was the purpose of the AHFO. No purpose at all. Just a purpose to keep Matt Hardy doing something until Jeff Hardy came in there. But it's going to be over. It's going to be over after tonight, and we will see Matt Hardy inevitably break. He's going to say, enough of this shit. Enough's enough. We bring in Jeff. And I can definitely see Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy versus Private Party somewhere down the line between now and Revolution, because now we are going to be off to the races with Matt and Jeff Hardy going after the tag team titles, and it will happen. It will happen. We will see Proud and Powerful take those titles off of Jurassic Express at Double or Nothing, and at Full Gear this year, we're going into Full Gear with Matt and Jeff Hardy versus Proud and Powerful, with Matt and Jeff winning, and then after that, then I can see Red Dragon taking those titles off of the Hardy Boys, and then that'll be it for the Hardys. Hardys will finally hang it up after that. That's the whole reason why they're doing this. One last run as the Hardys, and they retire together. I'm going with Sammy, Darby, and Sting on this one. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be all over the place. It is going to be something to remember, and I'm very, very excited for this match and this show. Like, seriously, I can barely contain my excitement. I feel like a fucking kid again, man. I feel like a kid again. That's why I love this company. They're doing some good shit. It's going to be a great match, and I fully expect the baby faces to walk out victorious. The ball's in your court.
Yeah, baby faces up, bro. Totally. I did find it interesting that you assume that Sting is going to turn on Darby Allin. I think perhaps it might be the other way around. I think Darby Allin might be
There's no way Darby will be booed. Darby is just, he is their version of Jeff Hardy Classic and Bryan Danielson combined. I'm talking about 2014 WrestleMania 30 Bryan Danielson, and I'm talking about 2008 Jeff Hardy. You merge those two together. Remember when Jeff won the WWE title in 2008? You merge that Jeff Hardy with WrestleMania 30 Daniel Bryan, and you get Darby Allin. There's no way he is booed.
If you want to elevate, though, like that, here's just my contention here, right? And I do think it's interesting if Sting turned on Darby. I think Sting as a heel, hey, that's another guy who really didn't work heel that much in his career. He did. It
depends on who's booking him. Eric Bischoff, let's be real. Eric Bischoff, he's
Yeah. I mean, they did it in WCW for like a hot second. They did it in TNA for like a hot minute. It just
Carter, nah.
Yeah, it's not something that that they've really done historically here. But Darby Allin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on the indie scene, he worked heel quite a bit. And I think that if you have a bloody, beaten down Sting, that would grip the fans emotionally more than a bloody, beaten down Darby with Sting beating him down. I don't know. I'm just being devil's advocate here. I think they could go either way with it, but I do find that interesting that that's your thought process here. That makes sense. I mean, eventually
there is a story if you think about it, because Sting has always gotten the victory in those tag team matches with himself and Darby. So Sting could be like, I fucking carried you through these tag team matches, and you were losing big matches. You lost to Punk, you lost to MJF. And now you're losing to Sammy Guevara. You can't get the TNT title back. Why am I carrying this dead weight around if you can't get the job done? You lost the TNT title, and ever since then, you can't win big. You can't win the big one. And that's the story. Darby wins the big one and takes care of Sting. He moves up the ladder.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that's very possible. And I do think it's a part of a bigger story, right? Absolutely. When it's time to break those two apart, someone's turning on the other, no doubt about it. I do find it interesting too that they're still like allies with CM Punk in a sense. I think that's interesting as well, that they kind of have that tie in too. And you saw them come to CM Punk's aid on Dynamite. So yeah, I think this match is going to be great. I think your ideas with the Hardy Boys coming together and breaking up the AHFO. That's such a tongue twister, man. Breaking that up tonight makes sense. It's going to be a banger of a match. Andrade El Idolo is awesome. He's been one of my favorite wrestlers for a long time. Much respect to that
He's
guy.
Hilarious on the microphone in AEW.
Oh,
have you listened to his promos?
Yeah, he calls Sting stink. He's like that little kid that hangs around with Sting.
For the little kid. How much for the little kid? Great. But my favorite line from his, before we move on, my favorite line from his is, Cody, you make stupid choices. First, that is a stupid tattoo. That was my all-time favorite line of his.
And the shame here is he could have been doing this entire shtick on Monday Night Raw. He could have been doing this entire thing.
Those suits. Holy
shit. Yeah. You know, and they WWE wasted their time with this guy. I think Andrade is amazing. He's a fantastic wrestler, and I think he's only scratched the surface in AEW, and he's doing what he needs to do. He's helping get some guys over. He's putting on banger matches. He's saying like, "Hey, look, I'm loyal to your company. I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to help get your guys over, and then we're gonna do something." And something's going to happen with him. There's too much talent there for something not to eventually happen, and for him to break loose into a gigantic star. But yeah, babyface is up. There's a lot of side stories that come out of this, as you were saying. Hardy Boys, Private Party. There's all kinds of different angles that can come out of this one match. Where does Sammy Guevara go next? Like, who's his next opponent? Is obviously going to be the ladder match coming up. Yes. You know, that's going to be the next opponent. But who's that going to be? And yeah, lots of storylines that come out of this one match. So babyface is up, though. No doubt. Babyface is up in this one.
Do we see Jeff Hardy on Dynamite, or do we wait?
Soon. They're going to bring him in ASAP. It's WrestleMania season, baby. They got to make a wave. They're trying to make a wave every single week. If you don't notice, AEW is trying to do something.
They've been making waves they've been succeeding every single week.
Oh, yeah. They're building their roster now. I don't know what the deal is with Ring of Honor. I don't know what the particulars are with this deal. They've kind of kept
that a TV deal's coming. I hear it.
Yeah, so if there's a TV deal coming and perhaps it ties into AEW, then you're looking at, okay, now you have room for all these wrestlers. Now perhaps Tony Khan can trade back and forth, can lend talent to each promotion to do all these different wacky or I guess creative scenarios. I'm excited for it. I think you bring in Jeff Hardy. You can keep bringing guys in now. If now you have two rosters, and that's also and you know, on while we're talking about this for just a second, this Ring of Honor thing, Cody Rhodes, man. Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
What if he's somehow, this whole thing is just a gigantic ploy for him to be the main guy at Ring of Honor? Perhaps the owner, the half owner of Ring of Honor, something like that.
I got no words for that, man. I think that if that was to happen, I think the internet would break. I think the internet would honestly fucking break.
And I saw that theory bounced around immediately, but I actually thought that in my head. I wasn't even looking at Twitter when the Ring of Honor thing was announced, really. And but I saw it later on. But that came in my head immediately. I put it in a private chat that we got. I said, what if Cody's a part of this thing? Because we're not hearing much as far as the WWE contract's concerned. We heard, you know, a little bit of like the Miz and Edge saying some kind of like Easter eggs on Raw in relation to Cody, but nothing really has come out since then. So maybe
I don't see anything happening.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's interesting scenario. If Cody just somehow is like, yep, I'm out of AEW, couldn't come up to terms. But this whole thing with Ring of Honor has been just behind the scenes happening. And this is all a part of a big story to bring him into ROH as perhaps their top guy. I don't know. We'll see.
It's some good stuff, man. I love the unpredictability factor. That's probably like the best thing about this company. No matter which way they go, it's going to be good. Now let's move into more of the unpredictable matches. Now, this is a good one right here. Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, a lot of meat. Ricky Starks, Orange Cassidy, Christian Cage, face of the Revolution ladder match, where the winner will receive a future TNT Championship title opportunity. If this match kicks off the show, I would not be shocked. I think they're going to really start the show off hot, similar to what happened at NXT TakeOver New Orleans with that North American Championship ladder match, which may have been one of the greatest ladder matches of all time. Yeah, that was fantastic. But I love this field. The field is great. The field is very, very good. I love the progression of guys like Powerhouse Hobbs. I love the progression of guys like Ricky Starks. Christian Cage and Orange Cassidy, they're already made men. Christian Cage, I would love to be in that shape at 48 years old. He moves great for 48 years old. Really good stuff. And when he hangs up the boots, it's a very similar comeback story to Edge. So good on Christian. Orange Cassidy, they love him. And then you got Keith Lee coming on in. He's going into a program with Team Taz and Hobbs. That match is going to be fucking carnage in its purest form. And then you got Wardlow, who has the most story going into this. Really, really, really good stuff right here from this ladder match. I expect an absolute war. I expect carnage. I expect ladders snapping. I expect power bombs. I expect people flying all over the place. I expect a lot of crazy stuff here, man. I expect a lot of crazy stuff. I was basing the winner off of this based on who won on Rampage on Friday. It was Sammy. I'm going to have to go with Wardlow. I'm going to have to go with Wardlow, and I'm going to have to go with Wardlow is going to be the guy that's going to take that title off of Sammy, and they're going to add fuel to that Wardlow MJF storyline. Hey, I won the championship before you. What do you got to say about that? Does that make me better than you? That's what Wardlow is going to be doing. And once we inevitably see MJF win the world title, he's going to have a great reign. Wardlow is going to be the guy to inadvertently or possibly intentionally cost MJF the world championship when the time is right, probably next year. But right now, Wardlow winning that championship, I think it's well overdue for Wardlow. They've really gotten this guy over, similar to Goldberg. All he's doing is powerbombing people. Crowd love it. It's so simple, but yet so effective. He's got a really nice gig going on. Coming in, powerbombing people, putting his foot over the chest and leaving. He's got a really nice gig. And now, if he's in the ring with Sammy, this is really going to be a test to Wardlow as to what he can really do when it ultimately comes down to it. How he can perform against a legit competitor rather than just a jobber. He had a very nice match with Punk, very nice storytelling match with Punk, but that match, mainly people only remember the power bombs from it. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, I think that the Sammy Guevara versus Wardlow dynamic, that's definitely going to be a very intriguing dynamic. I expect that match to happen at Battle of the Belts, probably in, I think it's either April 15th or 16th, if I'm not mistaken, Battle of the Belts 2. And that's when Wardlow's going to take that title off of Sammy. Sammy's done all he can with that title. It's going to be Wardlow's time. And Wardlow, he's hot. He's hot. You got to pull the trigger on him. He is as hot as he's ever been. He is on the best run of his career right now, and it's well overdue for Wardlow. I'm going Wardlow in this one. We're going to see carnage. We're going to see ladders. We're going to see everything in between. Wardlow's taking this W, and Wardlow's taking that title off of Sammy in the near future. Back to you.
I hate to agree with you again, man. I hate to do it because I was thinking about this match last night, right? Because I knew we were doing the show today. So I was thinking about this last night, and I know people want Keith Lee to win, right? I know they want him to win. Like the majority of Twitter, yeah, they want him to win so badly, and they want him to win for all the wrong reasons, right? They want him to win because he was unjustly treated in WWE, because he's, a person of color. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you take one look at the guy, right, I think Keith Lee is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. I was there when he came out and debuted in Atlantic City, and it was a huge pop. Everybody's pumped for him. I think he's great. He obviously isn't, and I hate to say this, he's a huge guy. He's not in the ring shape he needs to be in yet. He's getting back there. You could tell he's been chilling, playing video games, eating donuts, the whole thing. You can tell. I mean, it's obviously he put on.
It sounds like easy for life. Holy shit! It sounds like
it's easy for I mean, it's easy for a guy like that to gain a whole lot of weight really quickly, and he has. And I'm not trying to body shame him or throw any shade at the guy, but he has. Give the dude some time to get back in the ring shape, to get, his legs under him again. I think obviously a feud with Team Taz is going to be cool. You're going to have a singles match with him and Hobbs, perhaps. Didn't Keith Lee had a match on Rampage, right? I missed Rampage.
He had a match on Rampage against JD Drake, and JD Drake, he's very good in his own right. So he's not too shabby. He deadlifted JD Drake, no problem. So he seems to be fine to me.
Oh yeah, he's a freaking. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The guy's an athlete. The guy's a monster. The guy's a freak of nature athlete. But he clearly is bigger. I mean, if you look at what he looked like towards the end of his NXT run when he was champion, he's a bigger guy than he was, and that's because obviously
in the shoulders. I see it.
That's where the weight comes. You put on weight really quick when you're that size. Anyway, I digress. You're right about Wardlow across the board. I changed my mind to Wardlow this morning when I was looking at Twitter and kind of like reading through comments and stuff and kind of thinking about it. Wardlow, they've built this guy up not only in a side feud with CM Punk, with MJF, this whole story that's happening, that's building up towards an eventual rift between the two that's going to break apart, but he's been dominant. He's been winning match after match after match in dominant fashion. He's got this little story with fucking Ty Dillinger going on. What's it? Sean Spears, the perfect 10. Yeah. He's got the story with him going where Sean Spears is beating the shit out of dudes with chairs, whatever.
That stare down on Dynamite, very good stuff right there. Sean Spears plays his role very well.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, I do think Wardlow wins tonight. I think it makes sense. WWE also, don't forget about this factor. If there's a guy that WWE is going to open their checkbook up for when the time comes, Wardlow is one of those guys. They would love to have this guy in their roster. So at a certain point in AEW, if you're Tony Khan, you got to pull the trigger and start pushing this guy and put him in a prominent role. So
There's
he's
no way
less
he's
likely.
going. The only reason why they want Wardlow is just so they could flail him around and say, ha, 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 look, we got one of your guys, one of your top guys. But they're not going to push him. That's all they want.
He's gigantic. He's gigantic, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He's not an ex-football player. He's been on the indies before, and he's an indie-grown talent. They don't want that anymore. You see,
that's true.
The people that they're pulling in from NXT, they're pulling in all these ex-football players and non-wrestlers. The only guys in NXT that have actually been successful with this new generation is Tony D'Angelo, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Braun Breaker. And let me tell you something. Those four guys have been doing really good for themselves. Those four guys have been doing really good for themselves, but let's be real here. Outside of those four guys, who from this new generation of NXT has actually been succeeding? No one really. Maybe Solo Sikoa. He's been doing
I haven't watched the show at all. I have not watched it.
I only watch.
I refuse to.
Make myself aware. I don't review the show anymore. I just watch to make myself aware.
Yeah, I know what's going on. I know who these guys are you're talking about and stuff, but it's too woke for me, bro. It's too much of this like down south slang and rolling with them hustlers type thing. I'm not really down with it. But I do think if a guy like Wardlow, 34 years old, jacked to the gills, former boxer, former jiu-jitsu player, a guy he's been on the indie scene, he's got the look, man. He's gigantic. He's got the look that they like.
Too. I can see him going for another like 15 years.
If WWE did open the checkbook up to him, if the time comes and he's a free agent, if that was in play, I think it would be. Honestly, I think it definitely would be. They would bring him right to the main roster in some kind of capacity. I think that's just me, man. Eventually, this is going to boil down to where NXT is strictly for these rookies, strictly for people who they sign out of college, young people. And some of these guys who perhaps jump away from AEW or come from the indies are going to go straight to the main roster in some kind of way. Yeah, put me down for Wardlow here, because as I do think a lot of people are really pulling for Keith Lee for some of the wrong reasons. They really want a black dude to be at the top and to be a champion and stuff. And whatever, I'm all for it. It's all good. But if that's your reasoning behind situations like this, I don't really jive with that too much. So let's go with Wardlow. I think it makes sense. And I think, if you're going to tie it all into one big story with MJF, where he was able to get the job done against Sammy, MJF wasn't able to. I mean, he did beat Sammy, right? MJF, he did beat Sammy. So yeah, I don't know.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I don't know how you really tie it together, but maybe there's some kind of jealousy factor there where Wardlow's got a belt, MJF doesn't, et cetera, on and on. Yeah, I think it makes sense. So let's go with Wardlow. He's been winning all these matches. Yeah, bring it on.
Speaking of MJF, let's talk about MJF. CM Punk versus MJF dog collar match. This is
so many callbacks here.
Feud. Yes.
Let me cut you off real quick. The amount of callbacks, because I was a Ring of Honor, like original viewer of Ring of Honor. I went to some of the shows in 2002, 2003 that CM Punk was on. And
those are classic days.
Oh, yeah. Those shows were Newark, Rahway, Newark. They were all up North Jersey. And a lot of the CM Punk that we're seeing now is taken from that era. So the callbacks in this feud to like CM Punk's original dog collar match with Raven in Ring of Honor. I don't know if you ever saw that, but that was
I've heard of it. I don't think I've necessarily seen it.
Yeah, bloody mess. This whole CM Punk run are callbacks to his early days, and that's awesome to me. So that's just another level of storytelling here. So yeah, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just wanted
to
you're bring that up real quick while I was thinking about it.
You're fine. Don't worry. Yeah. So this has absolutely been the best feud in AEW short history thus far, hands down. I don't think I've ever remembered a feud that has been this good. And I'm talking about better than MJF and Jericho, better than Omega Page, better than Cody MJF, better than Cody Malachi, better than Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. This has been the best feud in AEW's 3-year history thus far. Awesome stuff. They've hit everything out of the park. Grand slam after grand slam after grand slam. I can't think of a better feud that AEW has produced than these two. So many callbacks, so much long-term storytelling from when MJF was a kid and the promo that he cut after he just busted open Punk on Dynamite this past Wednesday. Fucking awesome. Fucking
Well,
awesome.
that's a CM Punk promo. You know that, right? That promo that MJF cut on Punk while Punk was hanging from the chain. Dude, that's a CM Punk promo from Ring of Honor when CM Punk was going to leave. It was his farewell show at Ring of Honor. And he actually won the match against Christopher Daniels. And then at the end, when the crowd was praising him, he cut that exact promo and turned on the audience. He was leaving for WWE, but he didn't end up actually leaving for another couple of months. They had believed he was leaving that night. So he was getting all the cheers, the please don't go chants, all that stuff. And then he goes, look, and no, I'm sorry, he didn't beat Daniels. I think he beat Austin Aries. Then he won the belt. He won the belt on his last night. So this all ties back to that promo.
And he said, "You stupid old man, I'm a snake."
Yep, because that's from the Bible. That story, I believe, or some kind of old proverb, some kind of like ancient proverb of some sort.
I don't even know this shit, but holy shit, this just makes it even more interesting.
You can find the clip. The clip is out there on Twitter. I used to actually have the DVD. I since sold it on eBay, but it was Punk versus Austin Aries for the belt. Punk's final night. Punk wins the belt. Crazy. Place is going nuts. And then he cuts that promo, and then Christopher Daniels returns to Ring of Honor for the first time in a really long time. And I guess, like, scares Punk out of the ring. And then it turns into this storyline where Punk, I think he even signed his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor title at like a next show. So he turned heel on the night he was supposed to leave and cut that exact promo that MJF cut. Oh, that's how deep this goes. That's how deep this goes. The storytelling is phenomenal.
Holy shit, dude. I'm even more excited for this fucking match.
You got to see it. After we're done with this, you got to go look up that promo when CM Punk was leaving Ring of Honor, and it was a big screw job. He actually didn't leave. He stayed for another like 3 months. That's the summer of Punk. That is the original summer of Punk, the summer of 2005.
I'm going to have, well, he had multiple summers of Punk. Well, the summer of 2005, summer of 2008 when he was World Heavyweight Champion. That was actually the very first pay-per-view I ever watched, SummerSlam 2008. CM Punk successfully defended the World Heavyweight Championship against John Bradshaw Layfield. I remember it like it was yesterday. Then we had the Summer of Punk in 2011. Now we had the Summer of Punk 2021. We just had like 4 fucking summers of Punk. Yeah,
the original one, though, in Ring of Honor, man, whoo. Let me tell you, the heat was freaking spectacular. And then I believe he ended up dropping the belt in a fatal 4-way match where Jamie Noble won it, I think. And then it went to Danielson and then on from there. But that promo, some of these promos Punk is cutting, they come from back in the day. Some of these matches that he's having have like Easter eggs from old CM Punk matches, like finishes and little, you can see a lot of this stuff is actually fans have pointed out on Twitter. So pretty cool. The levels to the story are freaking unbelievable.
Yeah, this has been absolutely my favorite feud in AEW's history thus far. Absolutely fantastic. CM Punk's only been in AEW for 6 months, and he's already this good. He's been putting on excellent matches. He hasn't missed a step. He's great for 42. And MJF, this feud, fantastic stuff. I actually don't have a clear-cut winner for this match. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't have a clear-cut winner for this match. It could honestly swing either way. But I do know, no matter what, it will result in MJF inevitably winning this feud. Whether Punk wins here and he'll quote-unquote tie the score, even though MJF technically beat him twice in Chicago, that's what they're going with. He technically did, if we want technically did. Yep. And which even makes him an even bigger heel, an even bigger dick, and he's a made man after that. Biggest heel in Chicago's history right there. They could have MJF lose, and Punk wins in a great match. MJF looks good in the end. Like I said, the loss to Jericho didn't even harm him. He already beat Jericho 3 times at that point. So the loss to Jericho didn't harm him. Loss to Punk wouldn't necessarily harm him if MJF inevitably wins the feud. Or MJF could win. And we could be off to the races with MJF getting a few more wins, inevitably to fight Adam Page for the World Championship. That will be the main event of Double or Nothing, no matter what happens here. MJF, Hangman Page, Double or Nothing, main event with MJF walking out victorious. But here's what I'm going to say. It's going to be a bloodbath. What I'm going to say is this. I don't think anyone is taking this. I saw no one taking this into consideration. And I stated this on Earl Cole's show, The Wrestling Experience. Shout out to Earl Cole. He graciously invited me on his show, and I predicted this. Do you know who said that they were free on March 6th? You know who said that they were free on March 6th on Twitter?
Nope.
Kenta,
Ooh,
the originator of the GTS. I'm going to call it right here. It's going to fucking break the internet. Even more so than Cody being the promoter of Ring of Honor. Just when Punk's about to get the win, just when Punk has MJF right where he wants him, Kenta is going to come out of nowhere. The place is going to go fucking insane. GTS to CM Punk. MJF wins the match. Because Punk has nothing to do after this MJF feud. What's he going to do? Do the dream match at Double or Nothing. GTS versus GTS. Punk versus Kenta. That's my prediction. Kenta shows up. GTS to Punk. We move towards Punk and Kenta at Double or Nothing. And MJF wins this match en route to winning a few more matches. En route to beating Adam Page for the World Championship. Right there.
Bold prediction. Bold prediction. So you got MJF. You got MJF officially? Right. Okay. I got CM Punk in this one.
And I got the first one that we're finally differing on.
And it's a tough one because I'd like MJF to win, right? But I got CM Punk because there's been so many callbacks in this feud, right? There's been so many callbacks. And of course, CM Punk was able to bleed buckets on Dynamite. And MJF got the one up with a lot of heat. I mean, that was some real life heat. So much heat, in fact, that if you watch the clip on YouTube back, they black and white the entire thing.
Yes,
once the blood started, you know, and you had to know that this was going to be bloody when you saw them both wearing white. Like when you see CM Punk out there in a white shirt, my immediate reaction was like, okay, dude's wearing white. He's going to be bleeding.
He's doing the Bryan Danielson.
He's going to be bleeding. Yeah, he's going to be bleeding, you know, so. And again, these guys are such throwback kind of dudes. They both love Roddy Piper. I'm sure you've seen 1983 Starrcade, Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine. I'm sure you've seen that match. We've all seen that match. Have you? Have you seen that match?
I don't think I have. No.
Dude, first of all, you got to brush up on your wrestling history, pal.
Dude, I'm a fucking working man now. Give me a break.
I know, but this is something you should have made priority viewing when you were, you know, not working. Bro, Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine, dog collar match, right? From Starrcade 1983. These two guys bled buckets. These two guys beat the trash out of each other. And CM Punk and MJF both love Roddy Piper. They've both gone on record. They love Roddy Piper. Keep this in mind too. Roddy Piper busted up his eardrum legit in that match. Greg Valentine fucked up his ear. Bad. Hit him with the chain a bunch of times in the ear, busted him all up. He was bleeding from the ear. It was nasty. I expect that callback to happen tonight. Some kind of blood to the ear type scenario is going to go down. These guys are such homers for the past that they're going to do something to really throw back to this match. I love your idea with Kenta. I think that is absolutely brilliant. If that's the way they're going to go.
If it happens.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
My fingers.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool situation. I think that would be badass. You know, but I'm going to go with CM Punk. And part of the reason too is I do think and we're going to probably talk about this match next, or maybe in the next couple is Bryan Danielson and John Moxley.
Yes, that's actually the next one.
Yeah, I think that's interesting too, because they talked about how we got to bleed together. Moxley was saying if we're going to fight together. And I do think they eventually form some kind of a group here, Bryan Danielson, John Moxley. And I wouldn't be too shocked if CM Punk might be the third member of that group in some way, shape, or form, as almost like a WWE past type group of guys that have all that are all veterans that all bleed together, all that shit. I don't know, maybe not. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Punk after this. He's wanted the title too. He's talked about in promos how he wants to go for the world title. So how do you keep him out of that? I can actually
see Punk winning the title from MJF when the time's right. Here's what I think is going to happen. I actually have to agree with you. I do think CM Punk's going to come out victorious, but I feel it that CM Punk's going to come out victorious, but I'm still going MJF in that prediction just for the hell of it, just because I want to be different. But
yeah, I just think Punk's the Roddy Piper in this story.
Yeah. And MJF's the Greg Valentine.
Yeah, essentially.
Here's what I believe is going to happen as far as the world title goes. MJF is taking that title from Page. Next year, we're going to get Punk versus MJF again, and Punk's going to take that title. Then we're going to move into the very first ever stadium show, and it will be headlined by Punk and Bryan for the world title. Then at some time after that, Punk's going to remain the champion. We will see Punk versus Adam Cole, with Cole winning the championship. And then we could see Keith Lee slide in there, and he could be the first ever black AEW world champion. You know Keith Lee's going to be world champion. Keith Lee and Adam Cole had a great match in front of no one. They had a great match in front of nobody back during the pandemic. So I feel as though that's definitely going to be a callback there. But Punk will definitely be world champion. Like, he's too good now to put the world title on. And we're going to get the stadium show with AEW, with Punk and Bryan for the world title. But yeah, I have to agree with you. Punk seems as though he's going to be the favorite. But I'm still going to go with MJF and that prediction with Kenta. Let's talk about Moxley and Bryan. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Go back and watch that Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine match.
I will.
Go back and check that out. That's a classic.
After I'm done, I'm going to get home because I'm at my uncle's right now. This is my lair in my uncle's house. But let's talk about Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson.
Cool.
Let's talk about Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson. This could end up stealing the whole show. This could honestly end up stealing the whole show. And one thing that I loved about the build towards this match is the fact that they didn't just throw it together and kind of imply, yeah, this match was supposed to happen at Full Gear in the finals of the world title eliminator. It didn't happen because Jon Moxley checked himself into an alcoholic rehab program, blah, blah, blah. They didn't do that. Instead, they tried to make it interesting, and they did. Hey, I'm Bryan Danielson, and you know what? I don't want us to fight each other. I want us to fight together and train the future. And then Moxley's like, well, what's going on here? Is he trying to recruit me to have a great legacy in AEW, or is he trying to do that because he doesn't want to get his ass kicked by me? It's so simple. It's simple and it's effective. The promos have been top fucking notch. This is probably the best version of Bryan Danielson we've seen since his WrestleMania 30 build, fighting the Authority and fighting for the World Championship in WWE. And Jon Moxley, hey, he looks great. He's in great shape. He's a great fucking competitor. He's been wrestling his fucking ass off. He's been kicking ass too. I mean, it's a picture-perfect combination. It is a recipe for success right here. Really nothing more to say as far as that goes. This is going to be possibly the match of the night and a match of the year candidate. I'm going to go with Jon Moxley on this. I got to go with Jon Moxley on this only because Jon Moxley is just white hot right now as a babyface. There's no way they're going to screw up his momentum. And Bryan, he can take a loss. Bryan can take a loss. Bryan losing is not the end of the world. Bryan losing is not a bad scenario. Bryan's already a made man. I don't see Bryan winning the world championship at all. I see him winning the TNT title, possibly at some point. Maybe he can go on a tear with that title, but I don't see Bryan winning championships in this run with AEW. He's there because he wants to have one last run in this company. He wants to finally do what he couldn't do with WWE. He wants to venture out there, do some crazy stuff, and explore the different routes before he inevitably hangs it up. He's not going to be wrestling until he's 55. He wants to be a family man. So this is his final run. Maybe we get him for another 2-3 more years after this current contract is up with AEW, but ultimately he's going to end up retiring after his run with AEW is over. He's not going to be doing this like Ric Flair was, wrestling Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24 at 60. He wants to be in good shape when he retires. He's going to take care of his family. So as far as this goes, if this is the Bryan Danielson that we're going to be getting for the rest of his AEW run, putting on great matches that feel like world title matches but don't even need the fucking world title, take my fucking money with all his matches that he's doing. This is going to be an absolute fucking war. I got Jon Moxley on this. Floor is yours.
I got Jon Moxley too, and part of the reason I have Jon Moxley here is they've made it a point that Moxley's never beaten Bryan Danielson, all that stuff one-on-one, and they had a lot of different scenarios that they were involved in together in WWE over their time there, with the Shield and Bryan and Kane and all that stuff. They had a lot of matches. They were able to put on some bangers, but at the end of the day, Moxley's just coming back still when you really think about it. And it was also interesting to me that he was CM Punk's mystery tag team partner a number of weeks ago. when I was actually in Atlantic City. So that kind of ties into my idea of if Bryan and Moxley do form a unit, perhaps Punk gets involved. That might be a little bit there, but I do think it's going to be a phenomenal match. I think it's important that Jon Moxley gets the win. I think they do team up. I do think they team up. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with it, how it's going to play out, but they've kind of built this up to the point where if they don't do it, I think it'll be a disappointment, because I kind of want to see how they go about it. I want to see if there's something there. And once again, you have to keep in mind with Bryan, I know you mentioned that he's got a limited career shelf life left. He wants to travel. He wants to go to Japan and wrestle for New Japan. He wants to wrestle like Okada and Tetsuya Naito and all these guys. He wants to go to Mexico and have hair versus hair match. He wants to do all these things that he's gone on record saying that he wants to do. So I do believe that, he does have a number of years left, and he can come back and do the, once a year match type thing, 2 times a year match type thing if he wants to. He'll always have that ability to go back to WWE whenever he wants. No question about that. If he wants to go back and do a nostalgia run, if he wants to go back and help get over the next big guy, he can always do that at any point in his life and get a huge paycheck for doing so. But yeah, you're right. His time as a full-time wrestler, that's why he's going so hard right now. That's why he's going out there and he's having a match basically every week, and he's putting on just fantastic match after fantastic match. Also, keep in mind, he's one of the prominent Ring of Honor champions of all time, Ring of Honor stars of all time, with Tony Khan acquiring. I mixed Khan and acquire together, and it came out
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan acquiring Ring of Honor.
Get that trending in the chat, people. Hashtag Tony Khan.
Tony Khan.
QUAN. Hashtag Tony Khan.
That should be my new Twitter handle when I come back. It's going to be Tony Khan.
Please.
It'll be my new alias. And I'll have bugged out eyes, and I'll talk kind of like this, that we're gonna debut something great tonight here at AEW. We're gonna have the best Dynamite of all time, and you guys. No, anyway.
I love Tony Khan. I don't know why. I find it hilarious when that.
Bro, he comes out like what I found interesting about the live experience at AEW is that he comes out during, after before Dynamite he comes out, then he comes out after Dynamite, and he came out at one point and he's like, the same building where Macho Man Randy Savage won the title at WrestleMania 4, and he's like looking around, and you can tell he's just being a mark. He's just loving every second of it, like marking out. But anyway,
I would too.
Me too. Yeah, for sure. Dude, for sure. I like Tony Khan. He's a unicorn. Anyway, I think that him acquiring ROH gives Bryan Danielson now another type of thing where he can do things over there. He loved Ring of Honor. He was, I don't know if you're familiar with his Ring of Honor run, but he was the king of ROH from like 2005 to like 2009.
Will we see the final countdown again? Will we see that? It's got to happen at some point.
Got to happen. If he's going back to Ring of Honor, they got to do it somehow. One night.
We got to get it on AEW television. I want the crowd to sing it.
One night,
just like they sing Punk's theme song and Moxley's and Jurassic Express. I want to hear the final countdown being sung.
You want to get jealous, bro? I was there. I was at Ring of Honor, his final Ring of Honor match, the final time that happened, the final countdown. Him and Nigel McGuinness. I was there. I was in the crowd. I sang along. Probably the coolest time. I've sang along with that dozens of times for Bryan Danielson. Probably the coolest time was when he wrestled Takeshi Morishima. This is a classic match. Final Battle 2008. If you guys want to go back and see it, go back and see it. This match ruled. Amazing. Like the atmosphere for Final Countdown was phenomenal. Bryan, as a full-time wrestler, a few more years left, but as a part-time wrestler, he's got 10 years left if he wants it. So, yeah. I mean, I do think Jon Moxley wins. This is important on pay-per-view that he gets a win since he's coming back from rehab. If Bryan wins, this team between these two guys, this like forming an alliance isn't happening. Okay. If Jon Moxley wins, it's probably going to happen. That's my take on it. If Bryan Danielson wins, it ain't happening.
It's going to have to happen because like this team's going to, it's almost like a Kenny Omega Hangman Page storyline.
Yeah.
If they team up, maybe we see those two versus the Hardys for the tag team titles at some point with the Hardys going over, and then we get the heel turn by one of them. That'd be great.
Yo, see the possibilities are endless, my friend. It's pro wrestling. This is pro wrestling. This isn't, you're not working Johnny Knoxville into a storyline. You're not working in Logan Paul's of the world. This is professional wrestling, what we're dealing with right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Fuck that,
yeah,
man.
Fuck all that.
Let's talk about another good one. Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
This one.
Mm-hmm.
Love the promo. Love the promo with them a couple weeks back. Oh, loved it. Absolutely loved that face-to-face confrontation. This is definitely going to be a top-tier match to help get Eddie Kingston over. And I can see Eddie Kingston as one of MJF's challengers for the World Championship. Because MJF's going to need some challengers. He is going to end up holding that title going into next year for sure. So you got a lot of different challengers that you could feed him. Eddie Kingston, Sammy Guevara after he loses the TNT title, Darby Allin after he gets past Sting. So you got 3 top-tier challengers right there. Maybe we see someone like a John Moxley. We revisit that feud. That'd be great. We can revisit that feud. But ultimately, I believe MJF will drop it to Punk. But as far as Eddie Kingston goes, I love the fact that they brought this up in the storyline. I was hoping they would have done this. Chris Jericho mentioned that Eddie Kingston can't win the big one. I was waiting for them to say that. Because that right there, that is the big picture of this entire storyline, and that's the main factor that's going to help get this match over, that's going to help get Eddie Kingston over, and that's going to help make sure that everyone is invested in this match, and they want an Eddie Kingston win. Because he's lost to Miro, he's lost to Moxley, he's lost to Bryan, he's lost to Punk, he's lost to the Bucks, lost to Lance Archer, he's lost to Cody, he's lost to everybody. Now it's time for him to get his big win. And now he'll either get one last run at the world title, but he won't win, or maybe he could win the TNT championship. Who knows? But this is going to be a very, very, very good showcase for both men. Chris Jericho, I can't really say anything about Chris Jericho as far as things that'll do him justice. One of the greatest of all time. One of the greatest of all time. He got himself in great shape. Got himself in excellent fucking shape. Very, very happy for him. And at the end of it all, I mean, Eddie Kingston, I expect an Eddie Kingston victory. And this will be the biggest moment of Eddie Kingston's AEW run thus far, with him going over Jericho and Eddie Kingston moving up the ladder a little bit, either for a TNT title run or a match against MJF for the World Championship. Can you imagine the promos between Eddie Kingston and MJF? That right there is going to absolutely sell that feud as being a top-tier feud that people need to go out and watch. I think this is going to be a really good fight. It's going to be a really good fight. It's going to be similar to Punk and Kingston. I don't think it's going to be as short. I think they'll give it a little bit more time, because Punk and Kingston only got 11 minutes. Great match, though. Great match, but it only got 11 minutes. I think this will probably get around 15. Maybe it kicks off the show. Who knows? Maybe it kicks off the show. This is going to be good. It's going to be good. I expect an Eddie Kingston victory.
I'm going the opposite way. And the reason is exactly what you brought up. Can't win the big one. I think Chris Jericho wins this. I think they continue with this Eddie Kingston can't win the big one story until it's time for him to win the big one. Of course, he'll get a lot of wins. He'll gain momentum. They've really shined.
Mark, aren't you?
Huge. Gigantic mark. And I also think it's important to note that Chris Jericho has recently got himself in tremendous physical condition. He has lost a ton of weight. He looks fantastic. He's kind of turning heel in a sense as well. So you don't want to, if he is turning full blown heel again, you don't want to start his full blown heel run with a loss to Eddie Kingston on pay-per-view. You're going to want to start that with a win. With nefarious.
At the end of the day, he's done everything.
No doubt. I'm with you.
He's going to be over as all hell.
I'm with you, but I do feel like, he's going to want to win this. And I think if you're going to go down this road of can't win the big one, and this is the first time you mention that Eddie Kingston can't win the big, I don't believe they brought this up when CM Punk was feuding with Kingston.
No,
I think
they waited for this. This is why they had every intention of having Kingston go over. There's no way he loses.
And theoretically, when you bring up the can't win the big one type of scenario, winning the big one doesn't normally happen right away, right? Like, I don't know how many. I'm trying to think of an example. I should have had one set up for this situation, but I think if you're going to talk about winning the big one with Eddie Kingston, it's going to have to be down the line. I think what they're going to do is embrace kind of this mental health aspect of Eddie Kingston's character. He recently wrote that op-ed on some website that was, I don't know if you read that, but it was powerful. It talked about his upbringing, his trials and tribulations in the wrestling business, how he was broke and suffers from mental health problems and depression and all that stuff. And I think you can really go deep down a road like with that for Eddie Kingston. You could have him lose to Jericho. You could have him spiral. You could have him go down that road of depression, not being able to win the big one, perhaps going on a losing streak and then building himself back up to the point where, hey, now it's time to win the big one. I don't see the rush in an Eddie Kingston push to the top of the food chain here. They have so many wrestlers that can do this before him, but he is an important part of AEW. He's an important part of the show. And I think if you're going to go down this road of not winning the big one, you better milk it. You don't want to just say it last week for the first time and then have him win the big one. And then that's it. You have a 1 week win the big one story. And hey, you never won the big one, but now you're going to in 3 days from now. I don't see where that benefits anybody. So I'm going to take Chris Jericho. And I think it's going to be nefarious. I think Eddie Kingston's going to get screwed somehow in some sense. He'll get some kind of flash loss. And then Chris Jericho can do what he's going to do. I'm not sure what his future holds, but I think the future of Eddie Kingston is, not winning the big one multiple more times with a focus on that winning the big one type of scenario. Then eventually you build to him winning the big one, which would be essentially a championship, I think.
I don't really believe that this would be a waste of time if Eddie Kingston were to win this. Mainly because of the fact that he's not going to move up to the world championship title picture just yet. It'll probably be like in a couple, probably 4 or 5 months down the line. That's what I'm talking about, because you're going to have to start somewhere with Eddie Kingston. Because MJF, he's holding that title. Well, once he wins it at Double or Nothing, he'll be holding it until Revolution at least next year, 300 days. So at the end of it, if you're going to have challengers lined up for MJF, who are you going to have lined up for MJF coming out of Hangman Page? They haven't really lined up anyone as of right now. So if they do have Kingston win here, this will technically be the start of the winning streak en route. You win a big one, and now you start winning more and more and more, and then that big one turns into a streak for Eddie Kingston. That big one turns into a streak, and we inevitably get either the TNT title win or the world title match. I don't see the world title win happening, but a world title match against MJF. That's where my mind is at. This is going to be the start of a streak for Eddie Kingston en route to getting a big title shot.
Yeah, we're the opposite on this, and that's cool though, because you got to remember too, the inner circle plays into this as well.
I see Proud and Powerful turning heel. I see it. I see Proud and Powerful turning heel, siding with Kingston.
Yeah, maybe that's possible, or maybe turning heel is siding with Jericho in this storyline, right? Maybe turning heel is siding with Chris Jericho. So we'll have to see here how this goes. I think Eddie Kingston's a phenomenal babyface. I think you keep him like that sympathetic guy who can cut a promo on anybody at any given time. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting.
If he wins, Crowd's going to explode if he wins.
Absolutely. How many pops do you want though?
As many as fucking possible.
Maybe. I mean, they're eventually going to get tired.
This is AEW. You either come out all guns blazing or you don't come in at all.
The show's in Orlando, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be a hot crowd. We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm taking Jericho. I'm taking Jericho, and I'm taking my story where the winning the big one. If you're gonna, that's just my thing is if you're gonna say win the big one, why would you only get 4 days out of it? Why didn't you say that months ago?
He gotten like 10 days out of it because he brought that up towards the end of February.
Okay, a week and a half.
Like 10 days.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Main event.
Wow, were they already? Holy cow.
We've been going for almost 2 hours. We got Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole. The 12th match on the show. AEW World Championship. I expect a match of the year candidate with these two. Every single Adam Cole match is a potential match of the year candidate match. That's what I love. Hangman Page, he has been killing it as the world champion. Match with Omega. Matches with Bryan. Matches with Lance Archer. Awesome fucking stuff. Probably the best babyface world championship reign in quite some time. Really, quite some time. Mm-hmm. I called this match. This was going to be the match for Revolution. I called it. This was the perfect match for Revolution. Why? Because A, match of the year candidate. B, Adam Cole, he can take a loss. He's still going to be Adam Cole. He's still going to be over as all hell. And there's a bigger route here for Adam Cole. He's going into that 6-man tag with the Bucks, Omega, Red Dragon at Double or Nothing. And I can see Omega versus Cole at All Out this year. and that's going to be the slow build. And Adam Cole's going to be busy. He's going to be busy for the next six to 7 months. As far as Page goes, he's going to be busy himself because I see him winning this. Then I see Miro returning. I see Miro returning after the pay-per-view on Dynamite, and we're going to get Miro versus Adam Page at Battle of the Belts 2. World Championship, that's going to be Adam Page's final successful title defense. Miro will then go into a feud with Keith Lee, get some good matches out of those two, and then we see Page and MJF, double or nothing, with MJF winning the championship. It's the best route to go. And then I'm still sticking with my guns. Wyndham will be in AEW in the summer, and we will see Wyndham versus Page at All Out. But as far as this match goes, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a match of the year candidate on the horizon, man. I am fucking feeling it. Similar to Adam Page and Bryan Danielson, similar to Adam Page and Lance Archer, which you were there for live. You saw that match live. Absolute bloodbath. Adam Page, he's been turning out bangers and bangers and bangers and bangers. This is going to be no different. Perfect match for Adam Page. I see the Bucks and Red Dragon and their shenanigans inadvertently costing Adam Cole, with Adam Cole inevitably siding with Red Dragon. They're going to take out the Bucks. When Omega returns, it's going to be a mega pop. Probably not tonight. I'd save that for Dynamite. But it's going to be a mega pop. Mega fucking pop for Omega's return. And we will see that 6-man tag team match. Page is going into a feud with Miro, and Page then will drop it to MJF. I got Page on this one.
This is, make no mistake about it, this is AEW World Champion against NXT World Champion. That's what this is. This is AEW Champion versus NXT Champion, and no way, shape, or form is the NXT Champion going to win this match, right? This is going to be Adam Page.
I wouldn't be mad if he won, but
me either. I'm an Adam Cole mark. I like Adam Cole. I just think Adam Page is going to win this, no doubt about it. This is no. If you're, and you know how I like to go back into wrestling history and bring up these different. I compare a lot of stuff to the past, right? This is no different from when like Booker T came in as the WCW champion and was losing to The Rock and was losing to Triple H and was losing to this guy and that guy. This is no different. This is Adam Page as the sitting AEW World Champion, a guy who was booked in the very beginning of the company to be the world champion now by Tony Khan.
Great story.
He built this up, man. Show by show by show. The storyline's been phenomenal.
2 years.
Man. He's gonna beat Adam Cole. It's gonna be a great match. It'll be freaking insane, I'm sure. Match of the year, like you said, very possible. And then you hit the nail on the head with everything, pretty much. You're then looking at Undisputed Era versus the Elite. Another like just dream situation that many years ago nobody thought would be possible. And here we are at this juncture. Adam Page is phenomenal. This is going to be a great match, and he's going to win, and he's going to retain the AEW championship. When Kenny Omega comes out, I think he'll come out tonight, actually. I think he'll probably
You're calling him tonight?
I think tonight at the end of the show, I think it's very possible that he comes out and causes a big uproar for they're really stacking. AEW stacking everything. They're like hitting you with boom, 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 like one explosion after the other. It's like Russia raining down in Ukraine, man. That's what's happening.
Yeah, they're gonna cancel you for that, bro.
Sorry about that.
I don't care. Go for it.
Too soon? Is it too soon for that? I kid. I apologize.
We're gonna get thrown off of Twitter again, people.
We got explosion after explosion coming out of AEW. Every single show has something. I think tonight's no different. I think tonight would be a perfect time for Kenny Omega to come out. It's almost like, I'm sure you've watched some Wrestle Kingdom shows or some New Japan shows.
Yes,
where,
here and there.
Yeah, where like a lot of the time somebody will win the belt and then somebody else will come out and like challenge them, stake claim to the title. I also think if you're going to do something where Kenny Omega comes back, he can also stake claim to a rematch for the belt. Who knows? Maybe there's a potential triple threat match down the line with Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Adam Cole. There's a lot of different scenarios you can kind of tie in here. So, to kind of tie that up, I think Kenny Omega comes back. I think Red Dragon and the Young Bucks are both out there for this match at some point in time. And I think we're going to see pretty much the scenario that you painted the picture for. Adam Page wins, and whatever happens from there is remains to be seen. But I'm so pumped for the show tonight, bro. I'm really excited.
I'm with you, man. So here's a question. Does Page get one more successful title defense in before his match with MJF at Double or Nothing? And if so, who?
If that's exactly what they're doing, I think, yeah, I think for sure. You mentioned Miro. He's been kind of a footnote, so I think that's a really good idea. Really, really
But, I mean, like
plausible.
his TNT title reign was great. I think he's only been out because he healed up a hamstring injury and he was filming a movie. Now he's back.
Okay, there we go. So if he's back, I think that would be perfect. That's almost similar to what they did with Lance Archer. He came back and he went right into a title feud with Adam Page, and it ended up being great. And he's a monster. Miro's a monster too. It would be a great defense for Adam Page against Miro. I like that scenario. As far as who else could be in that position, nobody really strikes me as somebody that at this point in time, I think Miro's perfect. I don't know. Maybe I'm just drawing a blank here. But if you're
I'm going with Miro. I got Miro coming back.
Battle of the Belts. Maybe you do something like if you want to get crazy creatively, a Scorpio Sky or somebody like that, somebody different that can put on a banger of a match. Maybe it won't be like this bloody powerhouse type of war that he's been having recently with Lance Archer. I think a Miro match will kind of be similar. You put somebody like Scorpio Sky in there, then you have a completely different match. I think that would be interesting. I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. Whatever happens, it's going to be fun. And Adam Page is definitely going to retain the title. So, and yeah, he's the guy to lose to MJF too. I think I agree with you there too.
And then, we're going to be off to the races with a lot of different storylines in this pay-per-view, man. And I am fucking hyped just as much as you. But ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of The Rundown. And we have had a great time. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you, Dee Dee, Earl, Danielle Wolf. Thank you, everyone, for coming on in, stopping by. Jay, I greatly appreciate you taking the time and joining me here, talking about some wrestling. Very, very happy that we got to do this. Very, very, very good stream. Very nice. Flowed very nicely. Good shit, man. I greatly appreciate you, and hopefully I'll be back on your channel sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I haven't done anything recently, but I mentioned I'm kind of like doing things behind the scenes. Most of that has to do with cryptocurrency. It's stuff I don't really talk about too openly. But I do always say, I think it's always a good idea to buy Bitcoin. That's just me. But there's some stuff I'm doing there. It's behind the scenes, eBay stuff, sports card stuff. But eventually I'll start making content again. You know how it is. I just got to get the itch, bro. I've been doing this for so many years on and off that I'm just not feeling it right now. But yeah, we'll do something again. And as always, it's an absolute pleasure doing the show with you. Thank you so much. It was a great conversation. Lots of fun. And maybe this is the kind of like jumping point I need to get back into doing YouTube videos more often. I do enjoy talking to you, man.
The springboard that you need.
The springboard, brother. So thank you so much. Appreciate this, man. This has been fun.
Not a problem. One more time. Where can we find y'all on social media?
Find me at PWP Nation. That's Pro Wrestling Powerhouse, PWP Nation. You can find all the links at pwpnation.com or the Twitter bio. You can also find me on some other alternate social media platforms, Instagram at my real name at Jay Alletto. I'm not a ghost. You can find me wherever, Facebook, anywhere. Follow my shit. I think it would be mutually beneficial. I think you'll enjoy what I have to say. I also on Twitter, I have super follows activated. I've got ways you can donate in Bitcoin and other ways. So if you want to donate to the cause, please do so as well. And again, one more time, thank you, DJ Storms, for this opportunity. I greatly appreciate it. This is going to be a fun show tonight. So thank you again, brother. And I also want to apologize for that Russia-Ukraine joke. Probably shouldn't have done that. But hey, it is what it is.
No apologies, man. I don't care.
I just want to make sure, I just want to make sure that people know it was a joke and I'm not kidding. I'm not serious about it.
Everyone's too soft-skinned now.
Too sensitive.
Here. But anyway, you can follow me on all my social medias, links in the description. Go check out the LFU from yesterday if you missed it. We talked about a lot of different rumors going into WrestleMania and Revolution as well. We reviewed 4 weekly shows, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Rampage. And of course, thank you once again to Jay Alletto. I'm DJ Storms, and this has been The Rundown. And remember, people, who runs the IW say who? But DJ motherfucking Storms. And we will catch you tweeting on the Twitter sticks for Revolution tonight. Peace